reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're listening to LotRO Reporter on the MMO Reporter Network. Brought to you by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapons with Doghouse Systems. Audible. Find your next great read at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And GoDaddy. Put your website to work while you play. Welcome to LotRO Reporter, episode 258. Chris is in the chat room. Hi, Chris.
Hey.
And Lanor's here, too.
I get introduced before he does on
All
this show.
right, fine. Welcome to LotRO Reporter, episode 258. I'm your host, Gary, and I am joined this week, as always, almost always, by Leonor. Hi, Leonor.
Hello, minions. And now we can introduce Chris. Chris is in the
Chat room.
chat room. Hello, Chris.
So Chris has a control of MMO Reporter, everyone. All right. Well, how was your week, Leonor?
It's been all right. I haven't. I actually focused on LotRO over the weekend. I went and got my power leveling guide, which you all knew that you guys, that I would grab for leveling my bear.
Mm-hmm.
So I started on Saturday and I played a little bit on Sunday.
Okay.
I think it was Sunday. I don't think it was Monday. And I'm up to level 46 already. And it was kind of funny because today in World Chat, I was talking about the guide because people were talking about leveling's too slow. They want to level faster. Is the gift of the Valar, I think it's called.
Yes.
If that was available right now. So I posted up the guide, and I had multiple people tell me right away that my guide was too slow.
Oh.
I was like, okay. So one guy was nice enough to say that my guide to level in the lower areas was just fine. It's actually very speedy to just have a high level character run around a small level character on follow while still grouped, and power level them that way all the way up until about like 45-ish, and then as long as they are subscribers or have it's either library or school instance, they can go into that. And once they get into that, I guess the experience is just really, really high. And you can power level somebody by doing that instance over and over and over.
Okay.
He says that once you get to level 65, which this part I already knew already, you hop into sword halls. You grab another buddy and you just go through sword halls. And pretty much you can get from level 1 to level 100 in, I'm going to be generous and say about 2 days.
Yeah.
So as long as you have all like the experience things too, like, the scrolls that give you extra experience, if you can find some rested experience scrolls from the auction hall, those help a lot. If you have the pocket item, you have the shield of the hammer.
Yep.
Hammerhead.
Hammer hand or something
Shark.
like that. Yeah.
And there's a new thing which I haven't done yet. They have the 200% scrolls for 1 hour in the turbine store.
Okay.
Those are, I think, 200 turbine points, something like that. So if you have all of that running, and plus you got this really cool friend that is running you through all this stuff, you should be able to level really, really fast. And that is really cool for people that, like kinship-wise, people who have played the game over and over and over and really want to get a bear to max level stuff right away. So yeah, I might be writing something up a little bit later about all that.
I saw somebody when the update 15 came out, they got their Bjorning to a level 100 in 11 hours.
11 hours.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy told me that he got to level 100 in a day. So I was like, okay, well, let me know what you were doing. And, he told me then. But you pretty much have to dedicate like a weekend, a day, 2 days on getting that.
Yeah, yeah, or you can be like me and just never get there. Yep, never get there. All right. I did a little bit playing on my Bjorning. I tried to record a first report and it didn't save, so I have to do it again. And I was going to do it Monday night, but the sidewalk decided to jump up and grab my foot, and I fell in downtown Seattle, and, which was a little embarrassing. And my left arm is not happy with me, so I went to the doctor today. For those of you who care, and I have stressed out my left rotor cuff, so I have to be careful with it for a while and do my exercises.
Can't you just like use a healing potion or something?
I wish, but I'm like one of those. I've heard people discuss about how many hit points a normal human being would have, as opposed to, like a superhero or something. And I think they've decided normal human beings would have about 2 hit points. I think I used one of my hit points.
I don't know. I think you need just one of those green potion, standard colored green potion healing things. I think it's called NyQuil.
NyQuil. Yeah. I think they're called Tylenol PM, and that helped last night a lot. But it was pretty ouch. Still is pretty ouch. So the plan is to get some more playtime in this week, I hope.
Hmm.
But so that has been pretty much all I did in game. Unfortunately, was had plans get messed up for playing games. All right, in news. Surprise! The servers are going down in 15 minutes. That kind of happened today.
Yeah, everybody that's in the chat room right now, all, end of the world, end of the world. Ah!
Yep, yep. From reading the post, it looked to me like some servers got 15 or 20 minutes warning, and some servers got like 15 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah. So what happened is they had a server downtime this morning for about 3 hours with no previous warning.
Hmm.
Freylorn said that there was a super bad vulnerability that was found on most of the newer versions of the machines that are running Windows. So they had to update some stuff and then they had to test things, but they didn't really tell each other what was happening and when it was happening.
Mm.
Yeah. So surprise, your server's going down in 15 minutes.
Wow.
And I think it was down for about 3 hours. It was like a regular normal downtime thing.
Hmm.
Um, the time frame was a regular normal downtime time frame. It just was not reported.
Yeah, I knew they were going down for a little bit now. I didn't know exactly what for, and I really didn't look at it. But wow.
Yeah. Yep. I forgot to tell somebody that they needed to announce that there's. Oops. Um. So there is now an official policy stance on support of player-run events, because over the last couple of weeks there's been a bit of upset in the music community on a few servers about
Right.
some activities that have been happening, grouping activities that have been happening. So they basically are looking at options available to combat the behavior in designated stage areas, and they're gonna warn and all of that they're following. Um, One of the big things is people parking horses in front of on the stage and on top of the band, kind of basically.
Mhm.
So they're saying, so stage areas, that's not acceptable. Now, if you're then they kind of wrote, if you're out in the world and you're near quest givers and somebody lands on you with a horse, it's not really much we can do about it. We're not going to do anything about it because they have a perfect right to ride up on their horse and turn in a quest, and most people think that's reasonable.
Mhm.
Then there was some clarification by the customer service manager that said the statement was indicating that there are events and areas where standard gameplay is expected. They won't be taking action on players who are simply mounted and turning in quests, but bad behavior is still unacceptable anywhere in Middle Earth.
Mhm.
Now, you had some thoughts on this.
Yeah, there is some gray lines on this stuff. I mean, we lately it's been called griefing, and it seems like Turbine just kind of goes up and down on a lot of things. We have items in the game that will summon fiery dragons and stuff on people. You know, the festival items.
Mm-hmm.
We have other items that throw snowballs and tomatoes and stuff like that. And there was a large argument about people didn't like those, so LotRO had to spend time to and resources to make a opt-out option to turn that stuff off so they wouldn't be affected by it. Now, I see why people would do that. I understand why. People would be very annoyed by it too. But when things are in the game to do these things in the first place, these policies and stuff like that kind of just go out the window. I mean, these things are designed to, I don't know about harass, but they're supposed to be seen as fun items.
Right, but that's
You see where I'm going with
yeah,
that?
yeah. I see where you're going with that, but that's not the problem as I've seen it, because I've been
Right, right. But that
yeah,
was a huge, huge problem where people in the community just went totally bonkers to try and get this opt-out. I remember even on the forums that there was a huge, please sign this thread so we can get these things either removed from the game or we can get an opt-out or, turn off switch for these.
right.
So that was a huge, huge thing at the time.
Yeah, I honestly don't think it was so much from my perspective and my recollection of being on the side of the people who would like to opt out. I didn't so much have a problem with you can use this on one person to faint, make them faint. You can use,
Hmm.
because it had a cooldown, so you had to it slowed you down a little bit. Or the
Right.
fiery dragon and stuff like that. I had no problem with that. What I had a problem with was with somebody walking in 6 or 7 alts, cappy alts, lining them up and just hitting the bow thing one right after the other as fast
Yeah.
as they could and ruining everybody's time of dancing or
Right.
participate. That was where the screaming and the opt outs came from. The other stuff
Right.
was more of a one-on-one kind of thing.
Hmm. Well, another good point to point out on that too is when Turbine switched the items to be if you do them 200 or 300 times, you actually get it as a emote,
Yeah.
and a lot of players really wanted that emote. So if you went into any festival area, including now, you're going to get those
Yeah.
constantly used on you.
And you know what? I don't have a problem with that. I think that's fine. I think it's kind of cool. I've done it to people myself. I've gotten the
Right.
thing and hit them with it. I'll go AFK, come back and be fainted. That's fine.
Now,
You know.
Now, people that keep these items and people that want to have these emotes all the time and use them whenever they want to, now, this is where these policies come in. Some people can consider that as harassment when people want to use these things on other people. Now, to get to this situation here, this is just another someone being a punk and messing with people.
Yeah.
Um, I do think that something needs to be changed, and we both agree on what it should be, but we'll get to that. Um, but the amount of attention that this has gotten has been, I think, absolutely crazy. Now, I mentioned this on Twitter as well. I said that does anybody seem that does anybody think that the problem with two horses or three horses blocking a stage has been so huge that it almost seems like it is bigger than the Bjorn class coming out.
Mm.
I mean, this is all over. It even hit massively because people were writing massively about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, why is it that huge? Now, there was a really good point. Somebody said that a lot of people spend a lot of time writing the music and composing the music, and just the performance in general it takes a lot of time to do that kind of thing. I guess my argument is because we're all playing on a massive multiplayer game, and we know that people can be jerks and do stuff like this at random moments. Why is this situation so huge than other things?
There's a couple of things that I think have happened that have caused this to be such a big deal. I think bullying and trolling in online games and on the internet has become a very hot topic right now.
Mhm.
And probably a year ago, had this same thing happened, they probably would not have felt the need to clarify their policy. But
Mhm.
all of the bullying and trolling and naming and shaming and all of this stuff that's been going on in the internet, then that's probably why it even hit massive. Well, it hit massively because Turbine felt enough that they needed to make an official policy about it,
Mhm.
and and it hit at a time when yes, warnings just came out, but if not for this, we'd have the servers went down surprise and holiday closures for news. That's it.
For our
Yeah,
news.
for our news. Yeah, exactly, for our news. Um, so I think this is coming at a time when this particular kind of thing in games is a very sensitive subject and a very high profile subject for a lot of companies and people.
Mhm.
When it takes just one tweet for somebody's name to be an at home address to be put out in public just because they said, "Hey, think about this, guys." That was all it
Mhm.
was, and Felicia Day's name and home address is out on the internet now because of something as simple as, "Come on, guys, pay attention."
Mhm.
I think that's part of the reason that it's an official policy had to be made.
Mhm.
Also, from what I was reading, and what really whipped this up into a frenzy of upset with players is the way the GM handled it,
Mhm.
which was clearly probably not the best way to do it. I wasn't
Well,
there. I don't know
basically,
exactly what,
right.
I just know it.
Basically, the GM said something along the lines of, "Well, he's just parking his horse there. I can't do anything about it," or something like that,
Right,
right?
in say, or so here they're giving this person who, if anybody has been around the role playing community in Landerville for any length of time, knows exactly who this person is. He's known for doing things like this and just riding the line. So
Mhm.
yeah, so they did have to come out. The things I have personally seen this particular griefer do, I do not understand the level of. I mean, I don't get why you would spend this much time trying to figure out ways to like skirt this line so closely. It makes no sense to me, but that's apparently how he gets his jollies. Or her. He
Mhm.
or her, I don't know.
Yeah. For a GM over a GM on any server except for maybe a role-playing server which Landrevel isn't. It's a role-playing encouraged server.
I saw responses to this from Land Revolve, from Winfola, from Brandywine, from Laura Lynn, from Crick Hollow. I mean, I went through and read about 5 pages of the responses to this thread. It's
Hmm.
not just one server.
Well, no, but if somebody's parking their horse somewhere and a bunch of people don't like it, a GM's not really going to do anything about it.
Right. I mean, if he's parking his horse in front of the prancing pony, it's a little annoying, but I mean, you can go through the horse to get to the door. The
Right.
problem is,
I mean, I'm sure that this does not pop up on the GM list, of
yeah, this is not on his.
maybe people like blocking an NPC that people can't get to. They could probably do something about that. If somebody's just being a punk and just like constantly jumping next to a band that's playing, I don't think that they can do anything about that kind of stuff. I think that probably this GM was a little bit rude, especially coming into chat and telling people to stop messaging him.
Yeah.
But I've actually had that happen with a GM before, where we were in an instance, the chest didn't open at the end. The entire raid party did contact the GM, and then he started to threaten us with bans. So
Yeah.
he sees it as a group of people trying to harass him, which is kind of crazy too. But that's a totally different topic. Um, I I don't know why he went into chat and started talking about all this stuff, but um, or just complaining. But that's all a GM can really do, except for maybe, like I said, the role playing server, where they can make a complaint that somebody's being a jerk like that, and because it is a role playing server, the GM might have some ability to actually tell this guy to move or boot him somewhere else.
Well, guess what? They have an official policy now that says if you're using official stage and somebody parks your horse on it, they're going to boot you.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what it took was stuff like that. I mean, I have been there when the guy has decided to jump up and down. We
Hmm.
basically stop playing, remove the instruments, takes 2 steps to the left, and continue to play. That's one thing. I've been there when the guy has decided to park the horse on top of the band for 45 seconds to a minute. Not a whole
Hmm.
lot you can do other than dude move the horse kind of thing. But
Right.
when you're standing on a stage in a designated quote unquote serious business area, um, it's kind of there's no really no reason for a horse to be sitting on the stage and brie other than being a pain.
Right, right. Now, I'm sure it kind of sounds like I'm kind of defending the jerk, and in a way I am actually, but only because people should like kind of be used to this kind of thing, especially playing in an MMO. Um,
But,
it shouldn't be this big of a news. I mean, like, I think it's kind of silly on both sides. But I'm going to point out this. Well, actually, do you have anything to say? Because I'm gonna have a little story after this.
okay, yeah, I don't think people should have to put up with crap like this in MMOs, personally.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't think bad behavior should be extended, and a pass should be extended to people for bad behavior on the internet. It just
Hmm.
I that's my personal opinion. And I don't really like to put up with stuff like that. People are
Right.
just trying to have a good time. They're not bothering you. They're over in the corner doing their thing. If you don't want to see it, leave.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
And this guy actually takes it a little bit further too, because a lot of people that I know that like to mess with people, it's a small amount. They get their laughs, they get the joke in,
And then they leave.
and then they're pretty much done. They might try it again a little bit later or something like that. This guy will do it the whole entire event.
Hmm. Yep. Yep.
Okay, quick little story. There was a um Jesus, what was this? It was like my third year in LotRO. I want to say I was walking through Moria. I was at max level. I think Isengard or something was out at this time. I was just passing through Moria, and somebody stopped me and they said, "Why is your character made that way?"
Okay.
And I was like, well, what the heck are you talking about? And I was like, what do you mean? And so he pointed out a few things. Wardens wardens are very popular to use spears, especially after the movie 300. You know, spears. We use spears. Brawr. They look awesome because they got the shield, they got the spear, they poke in like King Leonidas. That movie's really awesome. If you didn't see it, by the way, you should guys Netflix that. Um, and I had an elf, and he's listing all of these things that all the bonuses and stuff. Now, elves have bonuses in sword. I think it's like 3% or 5% more damage or something like that if they roll a sword. And I had a spear. So this guy is listing all of these things about, you know, all the bonuses, all the in combat stuff that I could be having, and blah blah blah. And I told him, said, well, I just kind of like the spear because, you know, it's just the way the class looks. It looks cool. And this guy just got really, really irate and mad and just like was reaming me out, plus teaching me about how the class worked.
That you've been playing for 3 years?
Yes.
Okay.
So after all of that, I blocked the guy and never heard anything from him again, you know, after that. But I did continuously keep seeing him, and he kept showing up. And every time that I was in the area and he was there, he would always just like walk up to me and like have his character stare at me.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah.
So, this is getting back to what we talked about yesterday. If Turbine's going to spend the time to adjust the areas with stages, to you know, have them dismount people or whatever when they're on horses, just go ahead and spend the time and the resources to when you block somebody so you can't read their messages anymore and you don't get their mails anymore. That was something that they added in, I think, last year or the year before. You could still mail people if they blocked you, but they changed that. Um, just go ahead and just make them invisible.
Well, I was all for that, and until I kept reading the post, and somebody made a very good point about that. To her, who, and she's had other situations of online harassment in different games. To her, having this character who she can't see possibly following her around and having no idea he's there just creeped her out. So having a character completely invisible, who maybe would be skill tagging, you know, it's taking nodes, whatever, things like that, could be is seen as a problem for some people. So that's a side that I hadn't thought of, because I was all for like making him invisible too.
Well, then having an option that you can turn somebody invisible or not
That would be cool.
at will.
Yeah.
Um,
Or maybe somebody suggested make them a little worm, or a mouse or something, but or make them very, it's like thin, you know, so you can see through them. They're transparent, something like that.
yeah, something like that. Um, if you can just like make somebody invisible for like a half hour, even that would be fine. Because if you know that they're around and that they're, you know, pretty much just stalking you and harassing you, you could go somewhere. You could take a stable mount, swift travel somewhere. If they follow you, you milestone. You take one of your ports that you have. They can't follow you then. They have to guess. And at that point, you could just put them on invisible and just be on your way, and you can actually go on anonymous to take yourself off of being online, you know, the notification that you're online,
Hmm.
and take yourself off like that. It is probably the best option that I can think of.
Yeah, yeah. Especially, well, a lot of the issue with some of the run events, and we're not talking just concerts, we're talking other things that people do with some of these player run events, is they're so well advertised that they can't really move it once they get there.
Right,
And an invisibility click for ignore people would might not be a bad idea for that. Where you can toggle it on and off. That might be a cool
right.
idea.
But in the meantime, when something like this does happen, I totally recommend that you guys that, what the people that are running the events, don't let stuff like this end the event.
Yeah.
Everybody just kick back and still have fun and just totally avoid what the heck is going on because you're all there for that event and you all want to have fun.
Yeah, and LMB's policy on griefers in general is to send one ticket, ignore them, and um, just ignore the behavior and do what you're going to do. Little
Mhm.
difficult when there's something parked on your head, but can be done, has been done.
Yeah. I actually did get a recommendation today. Somebody recommended that the entire band should be on horses from now on.
Yeah, that works too.
So just a small player fix.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else we've got. The music system. Speaking of music systems and bands, in the next update, they will be reverting it to the pre-update 15 system,
Um,
and yeah, and they're hoping.
is that all because of one note?
No, they fixed that note. That's I don't exactly know because I do not write ABCs, so I just play what people tell me to play. So I do not understand quite the depth and breadths of the issues with the update
Mm,
15 system. They
mhm.
are going to they said they'd be continuing to work on it but they are going to revert it back. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. Um
Ah,
well, yeah.
interesting.
Um, the turbines phone system that works 4 hours a day is going to be closed for a few days over the holiday.
Yep, sure is. It's going to be closed on through November. It's going to be on the 27th for Thanksgiving, and the
For
28th.
Black Friday.
During December, it's going to be the first of the month for a team charity event. The 16th for company events, the 24th for Christmas Eve, and the 25th for Christmas. And of course, on the 31st for New Year's Eve, and the first of next year, New Year's Day, because we all know we all need to recover.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So on the 25th when everybody's playing, and on the 1st when everybody's playing, just send tickets in on electronically.
More than likely, you won't be sending tickets in anyway.
uh,
You will also be in bed or partying, one of the two.
yeah, yeah. Might be partying in Middle Earth. You don't know.
Never know.
Yeah. Lena, are your favorite weekends coming up this weekend?
Loot box weekend! Yeah!
Super excited. I know you love your loot boxes.
Yep. There's one horse that I need to get. It's the Neeker, no, not Neeker Beaker. Oh gee,
Okay.
Cave Claw horse. As far as I know, it's in that loot box with the special mount token. So I'm gonna be going for that. I think I am on 67 keys right now.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been waiting.
Oh, wow. Dude, that's a lot of keys.
I'm gonna get me a horsey.
Okay. So you can send all the pretty shiny dresses that you don't want to me. I'll take them.
Okay,
I will take them.
have to try them on first, but yeah.
Okay. And then XP bonus is coming November 26th through December 4th, which is basically Thanksgiving weekend. So when you're done
Nice.
with your Black Friday and Cyber Monday stuff, you can get your 25% XP bonus and level
Yep.
your yearning even faster. All right. We have a Did You Know?
Yes, we have a Did you know? Actually was looking into the Essence system, And there were a lot of people that were warning me about, okay, if you're going to get a bunch of stats for the gear that you want to, make, you need to know what your stat caps are. And I know that there were some changes quite a while ago where Turbine took out a lot of these stat caps for the main stats like might and will and fate. And but there were still other stat caps that were for armor, resistances, and stuff like that. I mean, you can't just be invincible. They still had caps on some of those things. So to try and find some of this information, it took me quite a while. I even contacted Pineleaf, who I thought for sure would have it, and he didn't have it either. Um, so after talking to a lot of people in game, I actually got a really good thread made by a kinship name. Geez, I gotta.
I have it up. It is.
Thanks, Google.
It's called Lord of the Drinks.
Lord of the Drinks, yes. It's a kinship. I don't know what server that they're on, but the guide is great. It is all up to date and has stats, all the caps and charts that you need to take a look at when you start messing around with your essences, because when you start messing with essences, you can put any kind of stats that you want onto your armor, which is great. But if you don't need to put a armor stat or incoming healing stat or something like that because there's a cap, you're going over that cap, and those numbers are useless at that point. What you want to do is you want to find what your cap is, put just enough to get underneath that cap, and then focus on something else, like fate to give you more crit chances, or might to give you more damage, because apparently damage isn't something that's capped. So taking a look at this chart will help you max out your gear.
That's cool. Did you see the LotRO wiki page that has maths and
Yes.
graphs?
Yes, graphs that show the amount of damage that you can do, the graph of their arcs, stat arcs. It shows the damage, it shows where crits fall on these charts, and it shows devastating attacks on these charts, and shows how often that they will come up, and how big uh, of the number changes between these arcs. Yeah, these are some really good numbers. So even if you're kind of a casual player, but you have like end game stuff that you've been gathering through like epic battles or something like that, take a look at this anyway, because I know when I started looking at my stat caps for, I think it was Rohan, I was finding out that my gear that I just gathered up, I was having fun with, automatically put me over my cap,
Oh,
and I had no idea. And this was just stuff that I've, like crafted items and stuff that my kinship had given me. So I found out that my stats were all, screwy, because I've been focusing and just tunneling all of these stats through this one area, and there's a cap, so that was completely pointless of me.
mm-hmm.
And once I adjusted, my character felt much more well-rounded and less squishy.
Oh, less squishy's always
And that was Did You Know?
awesome. We had absolutely nothing in community this week. No letters, no nothing. Um, Kind of that odd time, when people are like holidays are starting up.
Yep,
So,
holidays are starting up.
yeah.
Yeah, people are starting to take some vacations here and there.
Yep. So tell us about our sponsors, Leonor.
First one's going to be GoDaddy. Put your website to work while you play. GoDaddy has a special offer for our listeners. If you put in the coupon code MMO30, you will take 30% off your entire cart when you finish up. That's for buying a website, email for your websites, and other things. This will be 30% off the entire thing. And if you just want a domain name for like a blog or for a small website that you have already, For $1.99, you can get a domain name for an entire year, and that coupon code is MMO199. It is a very, very cool thing, and cheap as heck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if you're looking for a new PC, then check out doghousesystems.com. You can use the coupon code MMOReporter to double your RAM at checkouts. And if you are looking for some new audiobooks for taking trips to Disneyland and seeing Goofy and Mickey and Minnie, and
Or if you're sitting in the hospital or something and you need.
oh, you're sitting in the hospital, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and you want some audiobooks like oh, I don't know, Fixing Your Website for Dummies.
Yeah.
That's a good book.
Yep.
Then go to audibletrial.com/MMOReporter to get 1 month free, which is 1 credit for 1 free book.
Yep, it is. And we are still doing our Patreon. We're up to 16 patrons at $78. It's at patreon.com/MMOReporter. And you can contact us if you have a community event or just want to tell us how wrong we are or wrong I am about the griefing situation or the music system or whatever. You can email.
Recipes. We take recipes too.
Yeah. I'll talk about recipes after the. Remind me to mention recipes. So you can email lotro.reporter@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter @LotRoReporter. Check us out on Facebook. Just search for LotRo Reporter. You can leave us a voicemail at 616-666-6778, or you can use the widget on the right-hand side of the screen when you visit the site, which is LotRoReporter.com. Be sure to check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/user/MMOReporterNetwork. And also be sure to follow us at twitch.tv/MMOReporter so you know when we go live and we do some streaming stuff. Who knows what it's going to be?
Yep, who knows? It could be the infamous Ghost Simulator MMO.
Yeah.
You never know.
It could be, or me deciding to just play something random in the middle of the night. You can follow me at the Carrie Mac. You might see tweets about Wafflegate and pancakes and Danish Dutch pastries. I bought a pan. I don't know how to pronounce the word.
I see it. Do you have a waffle maker?
No, waffles are not allowed in my home. I hate waffles.
No, waffles are much, much better.
No, waffles are awful. Awful things.
If you would like to tell me how much waffles are so awesome, you can tweet me at Laynor, LAYANOR, and we'll start this war.
Wafflegate has already happened. I think we're on to Pumpkin Pie Gate or something. All right. So thank you all for listening and downloading, and thank you for joining us. And as always, we do hope to see you in game. There was a recipe for some kind of crabs in here, like actual crabs, but I wasn't about to say the word crabs on the air.
What?
There's a recipe in here in this.
No. Why can't you say crabs on the air?
Because I think,
These are LotRo people.
This Velo's guide is awesome. I mean, it's hilariously awesome. Yes, it's called Hot River Crabs. You really wanted me to say Hot River Crabs on the air.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, take the crabs as soon as possible after the removal from the rivers and wash them, clean them, plucking off any scrap. Yeah, no.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOReporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOReporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.